So again, shul mevruche. As I always, before I start my speech, I give a little disclaimer, not for legal reasons, because I don't think I'm doing anything illegal, but for push it, the Oilem of Verstein, the Oilem of listen. I'm not a life insurance agent. I'm not a stockbroker. I'm not a fund manager, and I'm not a personal financial advisor. I do uh, this mahalach, I do this for the past 16 to 18 months. Baruch Hashem, that I've put into me this energy, as you call it, to go on and on and on. And as I walked in, a man asked me if you still have patience to this whole thing. And I said, guess what? Every day it builds more and more and more. It goes up more and more and more. Why? Because when I see an energized crowd coming and listening, and they are interested in hearing what I have to say, it's not because I have to say, it's not me saying it. And I can't say on myself, because I might then, do I even have the schia to say the schchina that for my good and chas v'shulem to suchen so for me. But I definitely feel as a shlichus from the Rebbeinu Shalom, and I will do it the best I can. So my man is on the shlichus. So ich tide shmias tiach leli nishmas. I do this leli nishmas, my three brothers that passed away. I had three brothers under 70. That means one was 22. Exili Ida ben Avram Loser alive. He was a bocher, passed away. So Lili Nishmus, we speak about how to save money to marry off your children. So Mitzvah by you, when you marry off your children, should be Lili Nishmus that you'll be able to come to your kid's wedding with a Chovis Adas. Lili Nishmus Uchi Akudish is Shlomo Dov ben Avram Loser Alevi. He was a Malamed of 44 years old, passed away suddenly without any warnings whatsoever. So Lili Nishmus speak about the Noisef and life insurance. And then I had another brother, Yosef ben Avram Loser Alevi. He was in the 60s, mid 60s. Passed away. He was a Malamed also his whole life. And Lili Nishmus was speaking the importance of putting away money for Saiva Tova, for retirement. So I have four topics that we do: living responsible with your money, understanding the value of money, understanding the value of time, understanding the importance of saving for your kid's wedding, the importance of starting planning now for retirement. Even though a lot of people over here think, come on, I have so much time in front of my life, but I will show you that the earlier you start, the richer you'll, not the better, the richer you will be if you start early. And then, of course, life insurance, which is an extremely important topic, which is lately, Baruch Hashem, a big movement about it. So let's start with topic number one, which is living responsible. What is a dollar? What is the value of a dollar? We have in Israel, we have something that's called yish, something that's called a minna. When a person has a minna, and a minna it has betuchim, it gives him the strength of going and the strength of believing that he's going to reach where he needs to reach. When a person has yish, then there's nothing what to do. So when you're missing a minna, believing, let's take away now the Basheferzat, let's go in believing in ourselves and in believing in our money. If you believe that every dollar that you have in your pocket is so powerful, you have to just believe in it, that it's one day going to be so much money, this $1. You would totally different think about this dollar. And if you take away the yish of saying, what a big deal, what's a buck? They'll show you mind-blowing numbers what a buck is. It's fascinating what a dollar is. So I say, says do the Bavista Machlaikis, what comes first? Is Asay Toy first or Simera? Big machlokes between Chassidish Sfurim, Mrs. Sfurim, is a Seitov first or a Simera first. So some Sfurim say if you're going to have a Seitov, automatically it's going to be Simera. Some Sfurim say if you do Simera before you say a Seitov, you need to have Simera first. How can you do a Seitov before you do Simera? In money, if you don't have the Seitov, you cannot do Simera. Cannot do Simera. Because you don't feel what you're doing. You don't even know what you're doing wrong. But if you do that Seitov, that means if you start investing your money that you're saving, and you see your money growing, and you see your money happening in front of your eyes, then you'll think of yourself as an idiot for spending money. Now, you have to live, okay? Nobody says don't live, don't spend money. There's part of life that you have to spend. But you have to take in consideration and be aware of what you're doing. So mahalach of being aware, it's what I do is bring awareness. I'm not going to teach you how to make money. I'm not going to teach you how to save money. I'm not going to teach you how to put away money. I'm going to teach you mahalchim. I'm going to bring you awareness. I'm going to bring you awareness, what's my dollar, and how do you save money? What's heißt awareness? I'm sure 99% of the crowd over here, including me, never looks at a credit card bill. It goes in the email if you want to look at it, or you have to log in to look at it. Payment to your credit card goes automatic from your bank. I don't know how many people has it here, but most people that I know do it that way. So you don't even look at your credit card bill. You don't even look at your credit card bill. So I spoke today to a niece of mine that became now a coach in Masila. And I asked her, so tell me, what did you learn over there? She said, you believe it or not, she's a Chassidish Shavabel. And she says, I had a fascinating story that I learned on myself. I was learning the stuff, and I need to know that we're talking about credit card bills, to look at bills. And she says, never looked at bills. The bill comes, it gets paid, and I get into it. She looks at a bill, started looking at a bill, and she saw a charge for Netflix. Now she said Netflix, net is telephone. She thought, okay, it's telephone. A Hasidic Shavabel has only a flip phone she has. And she thought it's for phone service, $35 a month. Ein Chodesh, zwei, drei, and sie geht darauf to 40, 45. And one day she decided, she told someone, doesn't make sense. I have a Verizon bill on my credit card, and then I have another company. What's going on? What is Netflix? The guy starts laughing. Do you maybe have a teenager at home? He said, no, my youngest is 5 years old. My oldest is 5 years old. Someone found her credit card or hacked her credit card number and used her credit card for Netflix. Now, this could have gone for years without noticing. And believe you me, you people who will open your credit card bills, you'll see charges that you don't realize. They don't even know what that is. Got to be mindful. That's called being mindful and careful about your money. Guide shopping. You go into these big supermarkets, you have this full wagon, a receipt from here till tomorrow. My wife went before Pesach, not before Yom Tov now, to shop for Rosh Hashanah in one of the big supermarkets. And she knows that I'm very makpid not to use credit cards. And I'll explain why not soon. And she calls me up. I took like $700. I knew I'm buying a big order for Yom Tov, but I saw meat, I saw this, I saw that. The bill is $1,700. Can you please bring me money? I'm the other side of Bar Park. It's too hard for me right now. Just use the credit card. You always have a credit card in your pocket for the emergencies. Okay, she buys the credit, $1,700. We drove to Muncie that night. We had a simcha. On the whole way, she was mamish osmer. $1,700, $1,700. I come home 2 o'clock at night. I sit down on the table. We take out the receipt and start looking at it. The guy, by punching in the code for the plums, by mistake, he punched in that code by the pounds. So yeah, the scale has automatic scaling, but you can override it by punching the numbers. So he punched in 4309, the code of the plum. So she bought 439 pounds of plums for $4 a plum. Of course, $1,200 in plums. And this way you can't afford it. Nobody would have noticed it. Nobody's seen it. You okay, boom, $1,700 in the grocery bill. Just look. That same day I made a deposit, believe it or not, you don't have to believe the story. I made a deposit in my office. I have the machine that swallows the checks. And I made a check instead of $209. It did it for $2.90. Same machine, a machine. So I'm sure this would have been double checked in the system when it comes in. But what I'm saying is, be aware. Be aware with your bills, with your credit cards. I had my tatzach, he was a 90-something-year-old when he passed away. The last few years, I took away from him the ability of paying his own bill for electric and gas. Why? Because we had to set up a trust fund that all his bills goes into that trust. So the trust pays the bills. And this way he can have the social services that he needs to have, the nurses and all stuff. He was so upset at me that I took him away that privilege of paying that bill. I said, I know, so what do you need? What's highest? Every time a bill came in, he showed me. He sat down, went over the bill and checked, make sure that was his mind. And he found mistakes here and there. I'm telling you, people, you have mistakes on your bills. Everybody has mistake on their bill. I don't know if it's on the gas, electric bill, or it's whatever it is, but on the credit card bills or grocery bills, by mistake punching numbers here and there, weiß nicht. So be aware. This is a lot of money, tons of money. So all this awareness, a little bit. Be conscious and aware what you do. So I had a young man that spoke to me, and we spoke about setting up accounts, investing money. And he says, ich habe nicht the extra Geld. I don't have the extra money, the extra $100 to $200 a month to put away. Don't. So I said, okay, come, let's go over. I started going through his bills, his grocery bills. I said, bring me grocery bills. Without knowing, you went through the bill, you see stuff that you can eliminate. Again, without going to grocery, you need a budget. You have to have. But be mindful, everything you do. And Baruch Hashem, we were able to find every month $200 out of his grocery bills. We went over like 4 to 6 weeks of grocery bills, and we found a certain amount of money that we were able to eliminate of stuff. Everybody can find a place where he can eliminate. And one of the main places that we found is he has an extra phone line at home that he pays extra $25 a month that he's not using. The olden days, you had a bunch of lines, a bunch of girls, a bunch of lines. Now everybody has cell phones. He has a phone line. So life you $25, a big deal, $25. Rabbi said $25 a month is $25,000 chassid tzemach. $25 a month for 20 years is $25,000. This is how much money is valued. We think big deal, $5, $10, a sandwich, a can of soda, whatever it is. Every buck, every dollar is thousands down the road. Thousands. Every dollar. It's fascinating, and that's the reason you don't believe that this money can be something. And I said it many times, and I'll say it again today. I have a friend of mine that has a son that he used to go every Motzei Shabbos out to make a milkshake. They used to go buy the milkshake in the ice cream store for him and his wife and his kid. 3 milkshakes. A milkshake is $14. So that's what, $42 a milkshake every Motzei Shabbos. Told the son, one Motzei Shabbos, let's buy a milkshake machine at home. We'll buy the ice cream. A bucket of ice cream is $10, $12. A bottle of milk, chocolate syrup. We'll do the same ingredients. We'll make our own milkshake. So he made the first week. They bought the machine. They calculated each milkshake was about $4 in total, with the ice cream, with the milk and everything. So with $12 out of $42, he has $30 extra. He went that Motzei Shabbos. He opened up his laptop, opened up in his Fidelity account, ad account. It's called the Milkshake Account. This is what he named it, Milkshake Account. He took $30 and he put it in the Motzei Shabbos right away, wired from his bank account, $30 into that account. So that's $30 a week times 4, that's $120 a month. After 6 months, that account had over $800 between the money that it saved. Now, can you imagine? They still have the same milkshake every Motzei Shabbos, and yet they have $800 in a savings. It's called the Milkshake Savings Account. How much money will this be in 20 years? $100,000. A milkshake. Every Motzei Shabbos milkshake, $100,000. That's called being mindful. You don't even chap what's going on. And the worst thing is using credit cards and being mindless with the credit cards. In the olden days, there was no such a thing. I'm thinking of when I got married, let alone my parents when I got married. I mean, there's no such thing as credit card. Everybody lived off cash. Okay? You have money in your pocket. You have $100, $1,000, whatever you have. You start spending that money. You see that money depleting. You start being careful. You have duvar asimim min ha'ayin, a credit card. Einer bruch echal eila duvar min sin ha'ayin. Hand is einer klul echal eila duvar min sin ha'ayin. It's the opposite time. Today's days is totally the opposite. You have a credit card in your pocket. You go into the grocery. You don't even look. You pile up your card. Everything is huge cart. You come to the grocery. Forget about the plums that cost $1,200. But you pile up that card with a bunch of stuff. Swipe the card. You walk out. You don't even know what's happening. Comes the end of the month, you don't even look at your bill, it goes directly out of your bank. You can swipe through your, I don't know what your money there, like crazy numbers. The wine store, the fish store, the nut store, everywhere you go, boom, 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 you lose total loss of control. And then someone comes to tell you, start putting away money for your retirement, he looks at you, you're nuts. First of all, what do I take the money for? I hardly can make the month. Of course you can't make the month. You're not living with achrayas. Most Ingalat, you'll ask them, can you pull through the month? They say no. Everybody comes through with the month, you made it. And another month. Pure reason is, no, Baruch Hashem, there are people who are about to Shingalat, have great businesses, have good income. I'm not saying to everybody. But it's the center, the 80% of Klal Yisrael. There's the 20% of Klal Yisrael that are Leider Aniyim Gedolim, and then there's the 20% that are Ashirim Gedolim. But let's take the middle class person that works for $150,000 a year, $175,000. Between tuition, groceries, mortgage, utilities, he cannot pull through the month. He cannot. What can we do to pull through the month? So the first thing is be mindful on your money that we spoke before, how you spend your money. Don't just assume. You live off the credit card, you swipe through, look through the bill in the grocery, look through the bill in the office, look through the credit card bill. Be surprised how much money goes to waste, goes to the garbage. And all you need, believe me, all you need is $100 a month per child to marry him off B'Rchuv Gedolah. That's it you need. For 20 years. That's it you need. But if you don't do it, you will not have it. So the Nikida Alav is you live in Oil Chrayes, you live responsible. You take the same amount that lives off cash and does that same grocery shopping, wine store shopping, this whole 9 yards. And if he walks out of the grocery and he sees he has to pay $1,700 for the bill and he doesn't have the cash in his pocket, he starts looking, hey, something is wrong here. And he goes through the whole thing. He would find the problem of the plums right away. And he would make sure stuff he's not going to buy that ice cream that costs $18. And he's not going to buy the dip that's extra. He's going to be careful. And this is what is as good to have panas, is plain simple, be mindful. Don't be careless. Be on top of the game. And once you're on top of the game, you can start putting away. You can start building your wealth. And I want to show you numbers. That will blow your mind away with means building wealth with small money in young years. Whoever has this pamphlet, is this one or this page? On the pamphlet, it's number 4, page 4. It's page 4, page number 4. What is that? Okay, this way it's better, yeah? Excellent. One of the main issues that I bump in to the middle-aged people that are in the 30s, and 35 and 40, is they tell me, right now I already have a shpucha with 7, 8, 9, 10 children, and it's virtually impossible for me to put away $100 a month per child. That means $1,000 a month just for that. And then for the older children, you have to put away more because the $100 a month will not do it, will not cut the cake. So I want to show you on this chart. On this chart, look at the first box on the top. First 13 years, invest $1,800 per month. When Gemanda gets married, he's 20 years old, okay? The first 13 years of your married life, your expenses are very small. You don't have mortgage. First of all, it takes a nice fee. Most people buy their houses in the 30s. You don't have bar mitzvah, you don't have high school, you don't have camp bills, you just have schar limit for 1 or 2 or 3 children, whatever it is. The majority expenses of people happens between age 35 to 55. This is where the majority expense of the person is. So when a person takes the first 13 years of his married life, 13 years, that's what you have to do. You take $20,000 initial investment from the Drusha money you got or the money you earned as a teenager. You add $1,800 a month for 13 years. That's it. So this is a physical calculator that was in the S&P 500 in August 2002 and 5. August 2005. Ending month is August 2018, which is 13 years. If you put in $20,000 in the beginning, $1,800 monthly, that means he would have invested, go down, you'll see he invested $300,000 total investment. The final nominal value is $693,000. Then he takes this money when he's already age 33. He doesn't take it, he doesn't touch it. He lets it sit in the account. Look at the next box. $693,000 in August 2018. He lets it sit till August 2025, which is this year. The $693,000 grew to $1.7 million. You hear numbers? $1,800 a month for 13 years in the first beginning of your life grew, physically grew, not hypothetically grew. This was the situation, and we had a 2008 in the middle, we had a 2018, we had COVID in the middle, and all these years, with all these years in the middle, you still grew your pot to $1.7 million. Now look at the chart next to it. At age 40, okay, so it was age 20 to age 33, he put the money in. Age 33 to age 40, he let it sit. Do nothing with it, don't touch it. You can use the $1,800 extra that you had every month. You can use it for your bar mitzvahs. You can use it for your high school bills. You can use it for whatever you need. You don't have to put away a penny anymore in your life. Not a penny we have to save anymore. At age 40, when you start the starting balance of 1.7, look at the next column. Withdrawal is $125,000. That's the first year. And you increase it every year with $5,000. That's at age 41, it's 130. 42, it's 135. 140, 145. Look down all the way till age 95. At age 60, look, he's taken out already $225,000 a year. That's $20,000 a month he takes out. He put in $1,800 and he takes out. Look at this. It's crazy numbers. If he passes away, look at age 85. He passes away. He already took out every year. Look at these numbers: $325,000 going down. At age 85, if he passes away, he still leaves a Yiddish of over $2 million. This is how powerful the time and the money is. This is what I kept on telling you. If someone is going to understand the value of a dollar and understand the value of time, and the earlier you start, the richer you'll be. Not Stambol Batish, rich. You show me how many people that you know have a fund that has $2.5 million that are 7 years old now and take out $200,000 a year. You tell me anybody over here in shul that knows someone that does it. That is 60 and takes out $200,000 and has a fund of $2.5 million. Kamat kainanish, almost nobody. All it takes is the correct planning. Be vigilant in the beginning of your life. Don't spend the money that you don't have to. So someone asks you, where do I take $1,800 a month? I said, believe you me, read this chart and you know that this is your total future, you'll make it work. You'll make it work. Go for another job, go for, I don't know what. Make it work, because this is all you need is 13 years. That's it. Rabbi said 13 years, I'm talking $20,000 a year. I'm not talking big money here. For 13 years, $20,000 if you start in the beginning. Now, I look at the age over here. Unfortunately, you guys are already way past that 20 years. Baruch Hashem to one side. But to show you the power of it. And if you look at these papers, the dark color, I want to show you another number, okay? Right under that. So if someone just puts in $1,000, okay? It's in the black sheets. $1,000, you would have by the end $1 million. Not 1.8, you would have $1 million. So if you have $1 million, you can take out $100,000 every year, not increase it, just leave it. $100,000 every year, don't increase your taking out money, you would still have, because the market average does 10%. So it regrows. You take out $100,000 a year, by the end of the year, it regrew again to the $1 million, you can take out another $100,000. And if there's good years, and there's years that the market is 20% and 30%, you don't take out more money. You just leave that same $100,000, because for the years that the market goes down. So you always need that cushion. The Lieutenant Rosh Hashiv said, someone told me the story, from when the world lost the value of time and money, the Welt fuhrt auf Räder. Our parents, the older generation, time was so valuable. $1 giving, it was like crazy. Today's generation, Baruch Hashem Kanai Nahar, we have from Kol to Vativ, but we don't focus on time, we don't come on time, we don't go on time, we always have an excuse why you're late. Not everybody, I mean, I'm talking about me. Always have an excuse why I'm late. And so the time is nothing, and you tell them, start doing it now, I still have time. Everybody, daven now, no, I have time. Sozman Tefillah is 6 hours from now. Everybody has time. The time has no value. And money has no value. You tell the guy, you idiot, look what you spent. And just being mindful. Just giving you another example of this highest mindfulness. There's today's days credit cards that give points. So most people that I know have credit cards that give points. So should be able to have a vacation, fly business class. Look in business class today, 80% full of the Hasidim, credit card bills. The Litvische, too. I'm sorry, I meant the Hasidim. Credit card. Who pays $12,000, $15,000 for a first class ticket? Points! Fidelity has a card that gives you 2 points per dollar you spend, and every point is a penny. And Gemant puts $10,000 of credit card bills a month. That's $200 Kleingeld. $200, that's nicht kein Geld. Rabbi said $200 into your retirement fund for 30, 40 years is $2 million. Okay, your business class ticket that you thought you're going for vacation because those after 6 hours or 8 or 9 hours is gone, You don't even remember a day later that you sat in business class? You smiled from here to here, you walk down, you make sure everybody sees you came off business class. But believe you me, when you'll have $2 million in your bank account, when you'll be 70 years old, 65 years old, you'll smile way bigger than business class seat. So I listened to one of my speeches. He goes twice to Israel a year. And ich kann nicht fly coach. I can't fly coach. Back, my feet, my this, claustrophobic, people screaming, babies. Excuses from here till tomorrow. Points, this, that. He's not a big babus. He's not a big babata shingaman. He's a simple guy that makes, but he can't. Comes up to my office. He needed me to help him with whatever I should help guide him in financials. He told me, listen to my speeches. So he just flew last month to Israel. Went shopping for a ticket. Business class ticket was $6,500. Coach was $1,500. He took $5,000 in cash and put it in his pocket right over here. $5,000 in cash, and bought the coach. And every time he felt pain, he looked. Every time he felt claustrophobic, every time he came home with a pack and he goes, yeah, this is du, the flight is schon vergessen. And it's just a mindset. All of a sudden he's not claustrophobic. All of a sudden he's not pain, nothing. He has a pile of $5,000 in cash. And that's the way we think. That's the way we gotta think. You know, everything is important. I had a couple came to me, sat down, they needed guidance. A couple came down, they need guidance. Father calls me up, he married his children, he's 4 years married. He got him an apartment, a car, the whole 9 yards. Have a credit card, they swipe $7,500 a month. The Lando's bill on the cleaners is $350 a week. Smishmas to titzach. I said, first of all, you're an idiot. Who gives a credit card to the couple? I should speak to them. So I have the couple sitting in front of me. We start talking, you know, what's normal, what's not normal. So I asked her, should you tell me a little bit of her lifestyle? What she does. She buys a acai bowl every day for breakfast. She goes, acai bowl, I must have a acai bowl. So asked me if it's normal. I said, maybe to you, but to me, not, you know. She needs a pedicure, a manicure every single week. Is this normal? I say, yeah, maybe. But I just explained her this concept. I showed her the same map. I said, it's normal. You need it. I understand. I'm not telling you how to change your life. I'm not telling you what to do. I'm just making you aware. Take that same money, that same $1,800 that you spend a month on the acai bowls and pedicures, just these two things, put it into this thing, you'll be rich when you're older. You start marrying off your children, you'll have money. Rabbi said, if there comes the time to marry off your children and you don't have the money, believe you me, it's such not a good feeling. Shul bias goes haywire, everything goes as fight with mechatunim left and right. We need it, we don't need it. Yes, we need it, no, we need it. The bishes and charpas that we have. And a man called me up. He's a Tzula member. He says, I got to tell you the story. I walked into a house. Ingeman is 2 weeks before marrying off his child. 2 weeks before marrying off his daughter. He swallowed a whole bottle of pills. He wanted to commit suicide. What happened? He's beklompish of Obata Shingeman and drives a big caddy. She says, Kedai Shim Larachzu, tequilas of $500. A case of Menulan, there is no money, and he's embarrassed to go out, and he doesn't have money to go to the wedding. He can't go to the roof ask for money because then is it, where's the Cadillac? What's going on here? I just got to tell you the stories of them. It's because we're so not focused, we're so not there, we're still understanding, we're young, we're having fun. You know, tequilas, Gesundheit, you know, I also enjoy this stuff. I also flew business class. I also do these things. Everything with a limit. Everything with a limit. Be mindful. Understand that you put away money. It's going to come the day you're going to need the money. And even if your business goes well today, a lot of people that are marrying off children now are age, middle age, had good businesses in young years, A lot. People had Amazon businesses. People had so many different businesses that became nitzruchim gedolim. Don't think that because Sagaitir Gitant, you have a good business now, you have a lot of money now. Nothing to worry about. There's no such a thing. It's fake emina. It's fake emina. Be mindful. To show you another example, what means IRA, okay? It's at the bottom of the chart. Take a girl in 1975. It's not on the color one, on the colorful one. It's not only the black one. On this thing, a girl that goes out to work, okay, in 1975, took $7,500, which is the maximum contribution to an IRA. Put it until this year. How much would it be before looking at the paper? What do you think it would be? The value. 1975, she graduated school 50 years ago. She was 20 years old when she started to work. 50 years ago, she's now 70 years old. What's the value of the $7,200? Rabbi said over $2 million. This is how powerful time is. And if you look at the IRA, the bottom numbers, look, start age at 35, start with $7,200 a year. On a 10% annual return, duration of 30 years, you put in $600 addition monthly, you would have $1.5 million. Okay? The same amount starts at 10 years earlier, at age 25. The same calculation, all he added is $72,000 because it's $7,200 a year for 10 years. He has over $4 million. See a difference? $1.5 million to over 4 because he did 10 years more. It's the time that gives you the money. How does it work? The cheshbon is that on 10%, it doubles every 7 years. So if you take $1,000 at 7 years, it's 2,000. At 14, it's 4,000. No, it's at 7, it's 2,000. 14 is 4, and 21 is 8. So 1,000 turned into 8 within 20 years. So this guy that had an additional 10 years had another 7 years in between, which 1.5 became 6, plus what he added, plus that, you're over 4. So it's the time that makes you the money, it's not the money. So Rabbi say, grab your pockets, grab your wallets, be in control of your credit card. You know, if you can get off credit cards, paying minimum payment on a credit card is a virus as there are people who live off credit cards, they pay minimum payments, they build up balances, and it goes miyontav liyontav, and it grows to hundreds of thousands. I'm having a lot coming to my office with bills of, you don't believe me, hundreds of thousands of dollars of credit card debt. They'll never see the light of the day, never. Talk about putting away money, have money for marrying off children, they'll commit suicide. The Eibishter wird schon helfen. Of course, we got noch Geld verdienen. We're going to schnorr for you. If you have a credit card, pay the balance totally. Try not to live off it, but if you live on it, pay the balance as it comes. Do not carry over from month to month because you're paying away. Just take that interest that you pay away and put that into your son's wedding fund or to your retirement, you'll be a millionaire. It's crazy. Small numbers. Be mindful. That's the Nakida both. Sigh of saving, sigh being mindful of your money, being how to put away your money, to have the money to marry off your children. Where do you put in the money? Now let's talk about investments. What's a good investment and what's a bad investment? Rabbi is saying, in Sweden, we have a teva of being moidedige maminim, benai maminim, ben benai maminim. We believe everybody, we believe. The man comes into the smedish, did you hear that investment? Me. You're going to triple your money, triple X, 4X is going to give so much. Go out to Google, check. You go into shul, Google, yeah, the guy has a nice website. He made a nice website. It's good, looks good. You have no idea about the technology. It's AI. We all saw the news last week. There was a company, I don't even want to say because it gets recorded, it's live, I don't want to say the name of the company. It went Lulu. 6 months ago, I heard that there's trouble here. In every speech I said, do not invest in these companies. I'm sure people listened to that, and they went over, and then the syndicators came to try to grab money, and they said, well, I heard that speech. The guy was just said it. Ich weiß da nicht, was ich rede. But look what's geschehen. I want to tell you something. Real companies that have real technology do not need coiling a lot to invest in them. Believe you me, they don't need your money. They have money from venture capitals, they have seed money, there is fund managers, there is tons of places where they get their money from. If someone comes in the Smedish collecting money for a company that's developing, you should know this is a Ponzi. Without a doubt. And if you can show me one company that turned out to be a company that made money, come show it to me. I would love to see it. Years ago, it was the gold mines of this Chabad guy that everybody put in the money. Alles gegangen geschlossen. Everything went to sleep. A few years ago, since the high 2017, 18, 19, started the real estate investments. This group buys 1,000 apartments in Georgia, this group buys in Texas, and this group in California. Everybody have 10%, 12% of your money, and then they rebuild it, and they sell it, and they have a 2x and 3x. You can afford them fine for 2-3 years. It went very well. Everybody made nice money. Then came the crash when interest rates flew up, and all these buildings were not managed correctly. They were all on bridge loans, not even mortgages. They had bridge loans that flew up to 12. I'm sure 70% of this crowd knows what I'm talking about. The bridge loans flew up to 14%, and the insurances doubled and tripled, and all the buildings went lulu, and everybody lost their money. In Lakewood, I know over $60 million they got flushed out with these deals. And it's with Ponzi schemes and Ponzi schemes. What's the problem? We all want to make better that's possible to be made. You tell a guy, you'll make 10% of your money, now I have to beat the market. Tell a guy, buy S&P 500. It only makes an average 8, 9, 10%. He's trying to beat it. Idiot. All those who beat lose it. I was sitting once in a syndication meeting of a real estate deal of a group, and sitting over there listening to a guy. So I asked the guy, how much does this group give? There was an older man that invested a lot of money in that group, and it's a very reliable group. I'm not going to mention the names, but a very reliable real estate REIT company, a group. And he told me this group gives 6% annual, and if they sell out, it's 1.5%. And I look at the guy, an older man, and said, what? Everybody's giving now 10, 12, 3x. Listen to me, sagt der Ingemann, ihr versteht Jiddisch du. Hört mich aus, Ingemann. There was get a sach, get gunish. By the end, he'll take everything away from you. And he was so right. We all think we need to beat. We need the best yeshiva, we need the best school, we need the best doctor, we need the best hospital, we need always the best. Making a kiddush, and you have to make the best kiddush, the best caterer, the best wedding, everything. Yeah, but we deserve it. But be in reality. All the big billionaires of the world, even Warren Buffett, if I may mention his name in shul. Someone showed me a clip this week. He said, you want to buy my company? Okay, it's good to have. But invest most of your money in the S&P 500. Even these big guys, all these big guys, all of them say, like Dangel, put your money where Chase puts it. Put your money where the big boys put it, and that's only in these companies. In the S&P 500, it's impossible to lose your money. Impossible, unless you do stupid stuff. So in the S&P 500, there's now funds, ETFs. Every day new ETFs come out on the S&P 500. There's leverage funds of ETFs. So when we did in the 20s, in the 2000s, we invested in the market. We bought stuff on margin. If you know what margin is. Margin is that the bank lends you the same amount of money or double, and some give you triple, that you put in. So if you put in $100,000, they'll give you another $100,000 to invest. What happens is when the market starts dropping and the value of your stocks go down from 100,000 to 50,000, they make a margin call. You have to pay. And if you don't pay, they sell you out. So in the 2000 and 2008 and all these times, people were on margin. They started getting margin calls. They couldn't come up with the money. Everybody got liquidated. Now what's happening is the new ETFs that people are doing, okay, I'm already not wild. I'm not doing single stocks. I'm doing ETFs. I'm going to put in the ETF in the S&P 500. But a regular VU or these kind of ETFs is not good enough for him. 10% is not good enough for him. He wants to go into a leveraged ETF. Now the leverage, the way it works, those leverages that they somehow borrow money to buy. Let's say they buy 2 times the value of the S&P. So let's say $1,000 value, they buy $2,000. Where do they take the extra $1,000 to buy that $2,000? They take a loan. And who do they charge a loan for? You. So by the end, you end up losing. Well, it comes a crash and you lose all your money. Be careful. Guy b'derech hayusha, go the regular way. Invest in straight ETFs or the S&P 500. You want to do the Nasdaq, do the Nasdaq. I like to split it up, half Nasdaq, half S&P, so you have a little bit of stronger kicker. Some people say put in 20% in international. Some people say put in 20% in value ETFs. But put it in healthy places. Do not buy single stocks. As a general rule. What do I mean, do not buy single stocks? Let's say if you have $100,000 to invest, you want to take 10% and you want to go on a stock that you want to buy, okay. As long as 90% of your money is straight up in the ETFs of the market. Again, I can't give you advice. I'm telling you what I would do. You want to go ahead and put it into a stock? Put it into a stock. Most people who did individual stocks did not overbeat the S&P 500. Most of them. Some did. I own Apple stocks already for 20 years. If I would have had that same money in the S&P, it would not be there. But I didn't put in all my money there. I put in a fraction of my money there. Most of my money are in the ETFs or mutual funds of the S&P 500 because that's the healthiest place. I know Seflit Nisharup. I know Seflit Nisharov. Can you imagine if I would put in my money in BlackBerry? BlackBerry was the #1 smartphone for 20 years ago. The #1 smartphone. Everybody had a BlackBerry. Stock was flying crazy. Or Palm. If you remember this, the old days we had the Palms. I don't know if they this age remember the Palm. And Palm stock was the #1 stock. I owned Palm stock in those days. Sarov geflogen, Arug geflogen, Zahn werd 0. So you can't be a chochem. You buy the S&P 500 ETF, you're always in the winning 500 companies of America. Always. Always. Stick to the winners and be a winner and don't try to beat it. Believe you me, you'll have a Mashiach Hatzloch, a Moinig Hatzloch. And now let's talk about the final chapter, which is Achas Hayom, which is life insurance. As I told you before, I had 3 siblings that passed away under young age. My mother, Shulam, was also only 52 when she passed away. I'm not trying to make myself a nebuch here. I'm trying to bring awareness, understand that young people die. Now, boys say, young people are dying. The myth that young live and old die is opposite. The old live and the young die. Okay? Unfortunately, I'm sure everybody in this shul knows somebody at his age that passed away. Everybody. Or his age 2 years up or 2 years down. Or a family member or someone that is dying out of Nayanas and Make life insurance. Life insurance, I'm talking about a term life insurance and term life insurance only. If you're very rich and you want to be secured with life insurance, do a whole policy. In Geman today's days, your age must have approximately $5 million of life insurance. No, don't look at me funny. No, he's looking at me and making me the face. Wow, $5 million in Geman. You know what $5 million today's days is? Zero, almost goodish. To marry off a child today is minimum $125,000 liquid style if you're doing the Tikkun Azal. But if you want to live a babatish life, I mean, just make a calculation. How much you earn a year? How much you earn a year, right? Everybody make it. You have to have at least 20 times your earnings. At least. So if you make $250,000, you need at least $5 million just to cover your earnings. You're a 30-year-old, a 35, a 40-year-old. For the coming 20, 30 years, they have to live off something. So 5 million is not a lot. You will make a lot more than 5 million Not for life insurance. But you must have these numbers. 2 million, 3 million, 4 million. You need a lot of money in life insurance. To buy a whole policy for $5 million, you need $50,000 a year. That's over $5,000 a month. It's not affordable. So that's why you buy a term. A term for $5 million, the ganze mass is $500 a maximum. If you're young and you're in good health, it's about $35 to $40 per million. So if it's 5 million, it's $350 a month. And you're covered. You need on your wife at least $2 million. Rabbi says, high boom at $1 million. Start with $1 million. Start with $2 million. Build it up. It depends how many children you have. You have to leave over at least $500,000 per nefesh in the family, per dependent. If you have 5 children, that's a loan $2.5 million, plus the wife is another million, is $3.5 million. And then for the mortgage that you have at the house, you still have a mortgage that you want to be paid off. Now, over here, everybody should live to 120. But nobody lives to the 120. Okay? Nobody. 120 is a fine brucha. Most people don't reach age. As David HaMelech hat es gesagt, 7 Shune, 8 Shune, believe me, most people don't reach there. Unfortunately. Yeah, doesn't mean that there is death sentence tonight on your head. No. Mit angesehen. But es wird gebringt an alles vor a person that prepares himself and doesn't need it. Does not need it. My brother did not have life insurance. Why? Because there was no mental pfeffer going around and screaming at top of his lungs to make life insurance. The only life insurance that was around was these brokers that were selling whole policies. Yeah, he had $100,000 because this was he was able to afford $1,000 a year. Bought him $100,000 of insurance. $1,000 a year now buys you $2 million in insurance in term. Would have been an honest life insurance agent, he would have had $2 million insurance, not $100,000. What's $100,000? You left over on Muna Medratzen Yisoimim, 13 Yisoimim never. You have to go make a campaign with the ganze mass, with the whole charity, the whole 9 yards. We became the biggest Rachmunis in gas. And who wants that his wife and children should be the Rachmunis and people should talk about it? So the boys said, very important. There are life insurance agents that are very honest and they will not push you what you don't need. And there's others I don't want to say. The first thing is start building yourself a budget. Take a piece of paper, write down what do I earn, what does it cost, what's my expenses of life. It's not that difficult. If you're a little tech savvy, download an app. There's the YNAB app, there's Money Matters, there's so many apps today's days. Gets connected to your credit card bills, your utility bills, your mortgage bills, your bank account bills. You put it over there, your Yom Tov expenses, your Shabbos expenses. You set yourself up a budget to know how much do I need to spend to live. And then you get clarity. Once you have clarity, you know how to put away your money for your future. Believe you me, you guys will do that, you'll have a different life. And if someone is not savvy enough or doesn't feel comfortable enough to do it and needs help, there's a chosheving man on this Shmili that reached out to me to come speak over here. He has a certificate from Misilla. He is certified by Misilla, which gives coaching of how to build yourself a good budget. Don't be embarrassed. It's okay. Even if you feel you're a Babatish person and you make nice money, go. It doesn't have to be Shmili, it could be someone else, whatever. Go over to a guy like that, sit down, spend a couple $100. Make yourself a budget. You'll be surprised and shocked how much money of your money gets flushed down the drain. You'll be surprised. Without knowing, like I told you before, on a credit card bill, just Netflix or the extra phone line or whatever it is. You have all these subscriptions. You have no idea. You once went online. You wanted to do checking on a coin if it's authentic or not. You downloaded the app. It asked you to do a 1 month free trial. You did that free trial for $4.99. You forgot about it, and it runs on your credit card. App after app after app. A lot of people pay like $200 a month in subscriptions that they don't use. They don't need. Now, we're not talking about the magazine subscriptions that people have. You want to read, okay. Be mindful. Be careful what you spend your money on. Save your money. And again, let me show you, I forgot to show you the first page of this thing. I can't skip it because I do this on every speech. So on this one, if I'm not going to do it, something's going to be missing. It's this sheet, the first sheet. Just to show you, if a man takes $5 a day, it's this sheet. Chassan plum. Okay, the top chart. If a man takes $5 a day, we said before $100 a month. $5, the market is open 5 days a week. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. That's $25 a week, it's $100 a month. And your man takes $5 a day. That's it you need to put away for your son's wedding. Look, starting balance is 0. Annual rate is 10% because the S&P average is 10%. Duration of 20 years. Periodic addition is $25. That means how much you put on. The weekly is circled. $82,000 your total. You invested $26,000. You have profit of $56,000. The same man takes $3,000. Look at the next column. Takes $3,000. He cuts his vachna. He doesn't put the lights with the baby's name on the wall. Takes off that. Takes off the extra weight or the sesame chicken. Takes that $3,000. Gives that kicker. Look at the number. $104,000. $3,000 the baby's born. It's $20,000 more. Big deal, Okay, so she's on sesame chicken. So she's on a waiter. It's on the lights. Okay, it's another $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000. You take $10,000 when the child is born. You put it away. You almost have your whole wedding. $20,000, you're fully covered when the child is born. So when you're young and you have money and you're available to take that chunk of money, put it away in the beginning, don't do the monthly. Put it away in the beginning and you're set. So the boys say, reiterate, live responsible, be mindful on your money, be mindful on your surroundings, live with responsibility, put away the money, build your wealth, and the Rebbe shall help. You'll have a good retirement and a healthy relationship, because when there's money, there's a healthy relationship. When there's no money, there's fights. And make life insurance, and you will not need it. Now, my son, Dudi Zazangazint, I gave him training. He went to school. He's getting his license now. He's getting his Series 65 and the whole thing. He can help anybody over here that needs guidance, how to open these accounts. You can do it yourself, by the way. On mendypfefferkorn.com, I have a website. It's called mendypfefferkorn.com. On that website, there is a beautiful calculator. There's this page. So someone asked me if I have different ages of kids. I already have 5, 6 kids. How much do I have to put away for every child? On that calculator, there's a goal calculator. You put in $100,000 per child. You put in starting age, end age, a 9-year-old, 20 years of end age, 10%. It shows you exactly how much you need to put away every week for that child. And the total on the bottom gives you exactly how much you need on the full total to put away. On that website, I have videos of how to open accounts in Fidelity, how to open investment accounts, how to set up reinvestments, how to set up the automatic. You have to open an account for each individual child. Before we spoke about making these big accounts of $20,000 for a year. Now we're talking about putting away for your children. It's a wichtige thing to have for every child a separate account. The children go out on babysitting, they sell lemonade on the street, whatever it is. Show them the account, put it in for them there. They will see their money grow. It's going to change the whole mahalach HaChaim. Believe me, everything is going to change in the house. You have per child, the child gets older, you see it's missing their money, you need more money there for that wedding. You have an extra few $1,000s, you push it in there. And you build your wealth this way. So my son Dudi, he can help you set up. He charges a minimal fee to help. If someone doesn't want to set up the account, he can set it up. He's also a life, again, I'm not making money out of this. I'm not a life insurance, but he's a life insurance agent. He can sell you term insurance, whoever needs. I know people say that I have an interest, a personal interest in it. I have a personal interest. I have enkel interest. If you're going to make it, you'll be the winners. Maybe he's going to make a couple of dollars, but you're going to be the winners by the end of the line, and you'll thank me for it. The Rebbe helfen, invite me to the children's wedding, and everybody should have a riches shum toiven, and etzluche, bruch, and mazel, and everything you do. Shkoyach. Anybody has questions? Q&A. They said Q&A. You can have loud Q&A and quiet Q&A. I'm going to stay here for a while for quiet Q&A. Loud question or quiet question? Loud question. Let's go. Ask.
Someone has
No, go ahead. Here, the question.
Shop. If someone has debt that's under control and he's paying it off with whatever the maximum is, right? So that number of putting away $5,000, $500, $1,000 a month, whatever it is all going to pay off that debt. Should he prioritize paying that off first before doing any investments, or split that up and do it simultaneously?
So the answer is like this. It all depends on the terms. If you can take a gemach, let's say if you can go to a gemach, do a deal with a gemach, that let's say you owe $50,000 in debt, you do a deal with gemach, I'm paying you back $5,000 a year for the coming 10 years. You allocate that $5,000 there, and then the rest. But if you're paying interest, first pay off you. Never invest money if you're paying interest, because taking here and giving there. And the cheshbon that paying interest is 3%, 4%, and here I'm making 10%, that's a wrong cheshbon. First, get rid of your debt. First thing, debt. Get off it. But if you do, try to get the gemach. A lot of gemach will give you the gemach. Go to gemach. First of all the credit card companies will make a deal with you. And make sure to use a good credit. It's very on the home. It's still, it depends what the money was taken out from the home equity. If you took out a home equity to build your house, you see, now you want something else. There's credit card bills that have very high interest that you must pay back. That's one thing. People who take out home equity lines, a lot of people ask me, should I rather pay off my mortgage before investing, or I should take my money to invest? So the teretz is azoi. There's a system how it works. You buy a house, you take a mortgage, you pay the 5-6% or whatever it is on interest, you put it in your budget for the coming 20 years, it's being paid off. Then you take your money that you earn, that you invest, that goes into a 10 or whatever percent, and that's a total different thing. But your mortgage has to be paid off of your earnings, and your home equity line has to be paid off of your earnings that you're making. So yes, if you have a home equity line, I would split it up. I would say, okay, home equity is going to get paid on my dos normal, and because it's not eating you up that interest. Even though there are other people say no, pay up your, but it's not that. Anybody else?
How much cash to save before investing? How much cash to keep on it?
So everybody, this is a very known question. People ask, how much money should I have in cash in a cash account for emergencies, saved up as for emergencies? The teretz is azoi. A normal person, for his life that he does, if you have a good budgeting and budget yourself out, in your budget you would have put in a certain amount of money for your yontif, for your Campbell's, whatever it is. I don't have a problem you investing your emergency fund into, even though under the help nishvir. A lot of people say leave it in a money market account of 4%. And you're right, because you never know when the emergency happens, if it happens today. But usually your boilers don't break every day. And if a boiler breaks and it costs you $5,000, a lot of people have that $5,000 here and there to come up with it. And that emergency fund, meanwhile, makes money. If you can't take the hit, that means if you put in your money in an emergency fund and it loses money while it goes down 10 or 20%, it's going to hurt you. Be more comfortable, put it into. It's not a game, but whatever. You're not allowed to sell what? Don't sell only if you must. So someone asked me if I put in for 19 years, money